Welcome into OutKick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope all of you are having fantastic Wednesdays, wherever you may be across this great country, this great land. I had to think for a minute, what day of the week is it actually? I appreciate all of you hanging out with us. I want to tell you right off the top, you want 1,000 free dollars to gamble with this football season. You go to FanDuel.com, sign up /Clay. FanDuel.com/Clay. 1,000 free dollars to gamble with this college football season. You will be glad that you did. Also, go sign up for the OutKick VIP today. Go sign up now. We are rapidly growing, and now the college football gambling picks have returned. They are world renowned. They are world famous. They are known around the planet. Hashtag respect the picks. All right. I got to tell you, lots to get to, much to discuss, but we begin with the college football gambling picks, which I just posted at OutKick. Encourage you guys to actually go out and check it out. Right now, we have got Syracuse plus 8.5. I've got Mississippi State plus 17. Tennessee and South Carolina, the under 43. I have got Kentucky on the road against Auburn plus 7.5. I have got Liberty minus 6.5 versus FIU. K-State and Oklahoma, the over. Ole Miss plus 14.5 versus Florida. Arkansas plus 26 against Georgia. Texas plus 18 against, Texas Tech plus 18 versus Texas. And Ole Miss plus 14.5. Bama minus 27 at Mizzou. All right. Lots to dive into there. There are all of my gambling picks. You can go read them at OutKick if you want to get them early to either bet or fade. They will be up Tuesday on the VIP message board. All right, we got a bunch of details to get into. Let me say this. A lot of people reacting to Breonna Taylor, everything surrounding that. I'm a rarity, right? Unless I have seen every factual piece of data, I trust a grand jury to make the right decision about whether or not to indict, okay? And I understand that everybody on Twitter is a legal expert, but by and large, grand juries indict if there is a scintilla of evidence in favor of a conviction, all right? The old lawyer line is a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich. I never really understood what that meant, but it's a phrase, and basically the concept of the phrase is they will indict anything or anyone, even if there isn't very much evidence against them. So I would say that is my response. Again, I haven't studied the case. I haven't litigated in the case. And I haven't been involved in the case in any way. But the grand jury made the determination, not individual prosecutors. And certainly the police did not make decisions. So much of this always gets lost. If people are angry in Louisville, then they are angry at themselves because a grand jury, and again, I'm not an expert on Kentucky grand jury law, so one of you can correct me if I'm wrong in what was going on, but a grand jury is basically a jury, all right? And they look at the evidence and decide whether or not charges should be brought in a case. And as a result, oh my goodness, gonna have to block a man. He said my hair looked terrible. And as a result, if you're angry at someone, you should be angry at the people who sat on the grand jury because they are the ones that actually decide whether or not there is going to be any charges brought. All right, what I do know happened was LeBron James was asked why he hadn't made any comment about the two police officers who were shot in Los Angeles. And to refresh and remind you, Jason Whitlock and myself have pledged $10,000 towards the capture of a responsible party who shot the police officers in LA. That is Jason Whitlock and myself from OutKick. We have literally put our money where our mouth is. LeBron James was asked about the police shooting and also asked about the LA sheriff's comments that he would like LeBron to put money forward to help bring the shooter to justice. And he said, no comment. Okay, basically an indefensible perspective. LeBron regularly says things that are not very intelligent when he's asked questions, right? When he talked about the First Amendment in the Daryl Morey case and said, oh, the First Amendment has some bad things, and that Daryl Morey shouldn't have said what he said because of China, and he came down on the side of Chairman Mao. And now LeBron James isn't willing to say, hey, don't shoot police officers. Here's a small amount of my fortune to help send the message to my audience that shooting police officers is bad and it is wrong. No comment. What an unbelievable response. LeBron James comments on everything. LeBron James commented on Aunt Becky's prison sentence. Okay? Aunt Becky from Full House. LeBron James got on Instagram immediately and had a take on Aunt Becky's prison sentence. Here, he's asked a very simple question about police shootings, and he's not willing to condemn it. This is, I believe, pretty unbelievable if it were anybody else. But because it's LeBron James, we've gotten used to him saying things that are ridiculous. And by the way, he had like 2 weeks to get a right answer for this question. It took forever for everyone to be able to ask him this question. He had like 2 weeks. It's not like he was blindsided. It's not like he didn't know anything at all was coming. This has been out there for weeks, and he said absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing, and the whole thing is just utterly ridiculous, all right? So this was yet another failure of LeBron James when it comes to LeBron being able to respond to actual news in an intelligent fashion and in a helpful fashion for the country. He couldn't do it. Some data, by the way. Everybody wants to be obsessed with COVID. Oh my God, everybody's going to die. Everything's so scary, unbelievable. It's terrifying. Let me tell you this right now. The CDC released some new data. Didn't get much attention because it's not terrifying and because almost all of you are going to be 100% fine. Ages 0 to 19. 99.997% of people ages 0 to 19 who are infected with the coronavirus are fine. You are far more likely to die from the seasonal flu. Let me repeat it again. Ages 0 to 19, 99.997%. All right? Ages 20 to 49, 99.98% of people who are infected, these are people who are actually infected, are fine. 50 to 69, 99.5% survival rate. And even those who are older, over the age of 70, 94.6% survival rate. And for everybody out there who's been preaching how dangerous it was going to be for college kids to return to campus, data is up on OutKick. You can go read this full article yourself. But Andrew Boston, who has been doing some fantastic work collating all the data, calculated there have been 48,000 announced cases of coronavirus in the country. Do you know how many people have been hospitalized on college campuses as a result of those 48,000 college cases? Two college kids out of 48,000 who have tested positive have been hospitalized in the entire nation. We are shutting down the country. We are shutting down the economy for something that really only has an impact on the elderly and the already ill. If you are young and healthy, you should be living your life normally. You should be out working, and you should be going about your normal course of business. This is crazy. 48,000 college cases, only 2 hospitalizations. It's unbelievable. I couldn't believe it when I saw that data. I could believe it, but only because I knew that if it were a negative story, it would have been talked about everywhere. Instead, hardly getting any attention at all. Okay? Stupidity when it comes to masks in the NFL. I don't know about you, but I've been watching the NFL. I know some of you have not. That is your right. I am a sports commentator. Therefore, I watch a lot of sports on television, even if athletes do dumb things. This is wild. The NFL is requiring its coaches to actually wear masks on the sideline, even though none of the players are wearing masks. And even though the players are blocking and tackling each other for entire games, yelling at each other, all different sorts of sweat and whatnot being exchanged during the course of the game. And then after the game, they get together and they shake hands or they pat each other on the back. All of that is going on. Yet the NFL is fining coaches $100,000 and teams $250,000 if they don't wear their masks appropriately. What sense does this make at all? It is cosmetic theater. No one on the NFL field, given that they are outdoors being tested daily and the vast majority of the people on the field aren't in masks, should be wearing masks. I don't blame coaches for thinking that all of this is lunacy and cosmetic theater. If you've been out to a restaurant, it's hard to hear a waiter or waitress speaking to you when they have a mask on front of their face. And so, why in the world would it be easy for an NFL coach or a college coach for that matter to actually call a play while wearing a face mask? It doesn't make any sense at all that people would think this is normal. There is absolutely no reason other than cosmetic theater designed to make the Corona Bros happy that any coach on the sideline in the NFL should have to have a mask on. The NFL, it's making zero difference. They should do away with it. It's even crazier because some of the coaches have already had the coronavirus. John Gruden had the coronavirus. Sean Payton had the coronavirus. They are protecting people from something that they don't have and probably can't get again. And if you're one of the Corona Bros out there who's like, well, they could get it again, if that were actually true, then there would be no point in ever getting a vaccine because the vaccine wouldn't protect you and you would just have to get used to living with the coronavirus. So this is a thoroughly illogical, nonsensical decision being made by the NFL. Also, okay, the data here. I let you guys vote. Do you think it makes sense to have coaches wearing masks? Over 40,000 of you voted this morning. 93% of you said no, it does not make sense to have masks on NFL sidelines. Just 7% of you said yes. This is lunacy. No basis for it at all. Did you see Bill Belichick's sweatshirt? I want to congratulate him for wearing the trashiest gear that has ever been worn in any press conference that I have ever seen in the history of the United States of America. That is a sweatshirt that Belichick has been wearing for 25 years probably. There were holes all through it. The sleeves were off. But this is what everyone should aspire to. To be so good at your job that what you wear at that job does not in any way influence whether you are able to continue to do that job, right? I love the idea that Belichick is so good at coaching that he could have literally shown up shirtless, done the interview, and everybody would have been fine with it. Belichick rocking that sweatshirt. I hope that was some sort of bet. Somebody told him he wouldn't wear it, and he decided to wear it anyway. All of them were, all of it was fantastic in terms of the way that it got attention. Finally, I'm about to be live on television. I will be doing Lock It In / Fox Bet Live. But how crazy is this story? And I want to give Dr. David Chow props at Pro Football Doc for getting this right on OutKick. Tyrod Taylor accidentally had his lung punctured while he was getting a pain-killing injection before the most recent Chargers game, which is why Justin Herbert had to play. Let me repeat. Tyrod Taylor had his lungs punctured by a doctor, the Chargers team physician, by them trying to give him a pain-killing shot in his ribs before the game actually started. And this is just an utterly insane story. The punctured lung sounds more scary than it actually is. If you're a long-time radio listener, you may remember my guy Tony calling in to talk about the punctured lung back in the day when we used to talk on 3HL, a local radio show that I do. But I have never heard of a starting quarterback being unable to play in a game because his lung was punctured by the team physician. What is crazy here is I think it actually might have helped the Chargers because they ended up with Justin Herbert, who likely played much better than Tyrod Taylor would have played. Now, also makes me think there's a huge lawsuit potentially here, because if Taylor isn't able to show off how good he is and loses his starting job entirely based on medical error, how do you value that from a contract perspective? He's clearly worth less than he otherwise would have been. It seems like there is a clear opportunity to file a lawsuit here or get some sort of medical settlement from the Chargers. All right. I love all of you. My name is Clay Travis. DBAP unless you need to SBAP. Want to let you know if you haven't signed up for wins and losses yet, I just recorded with Megyn Kelly, formerly of Fox News and NBC. Fantastic conversation. She spent over an hour with me, and that will be up on Tuesday as a part of the Wins and Losses podcast. Really good conversation. I think you will love it. Encourage you to go get signed up. In the meantime, DBAP, unless you need to SBAP. Reminder, tomorrow Jason Whitlock will be testifying in front of the House Judiciary Committee. That should be interesting to see. Go sign up, fanduel.com/Clay, fanduel.com/Clay, $1,000 free to gamble with. I love all of you. Like I said, DBAP unless you need to SBAP. Kisses, especially to the haters. See y'all. Bye.